What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Big Lou. Welcome to Steel City Muscle. Just finished up a real intense, crazy arm workout today. I call it the arm crusher. It was about 1,200 reps. What I'm currently doing right now is doing a lot of high volume. That's what keeps you lean. That's what keeps you, shapes you, keeps some blood in the muscles. Allows your muscles to stay, full and hard all day long, with a wide range of, different angles, and you can concentrate on your contractions a little bit better with doing, the high volume, but at a slow pace. So I like to do high volume, slow pace. I think that that's the key to building bigger, better arms. What I like to do is I like to hit arms twice a week. I like to do bis and tris together. I'll do them one day. When I'm going heavy, I'll do bis and tris with shoulders. So I'll do heavy biceps, heavy triceps, and light shoulders, high volume with the shoulders. I'll do about 3 to 4 exercises each. When I'm going heavy, I stay around the 8 to 12 range. When I'm going high volume, I really mean high volume. I mean, we're talking a minimum of 15 reps. Some sets 18, some 20, 25. Right now I'm doing everything on my high volume day, 25 reps, and I'm sticking with supersets. So right now what I'm doing is, on my other day, I just do biceps and triceps. So I do 6 supersets. Each superset is 1 bicep exercise, 1 tricep exercise, and I do 25 reps each, and I do it back to back. So I go bicep, tricep, bicep, tricep, bicep, tricep, bicep, tricep. So that way I'm getting 100 reps per exercise, per superset. So you end up doing 6 supersets. Here you go. There's your 1,200 reps. So today we started off. What I like to do is I like to break down the muscles as far as, attacking the biceps, because it's 2 muscles. I mean, it's the long head and short head. And triceps are 3 heads. So what I like to do is, for biceps, I like to focus on my first exercise is always, usually I do a warm-up. Every workout I do a warm-up, no matter what it is. So if I'm doing any upper body workouts that day, whether it's arms, shoulders, back, or chest, my workout warm-up is I'll do 10 minutes on a treadmill or any cardio equipment, slow pace, heavy squeezing. And it allows to get a lot of blood in there in the muscle, and the muscles are great, and especially in the core, because you want your core nice and warm. And then I go over and I do 4 sets of pull-ups and push-ups. So I'll go jump up on a pull-up bar. Right now I'm a little bit lighter. I'm around 210 pounds, so it's a little bit easier for me to do more pull-ups. So I'll do 12 to 15 pull-ups, drop down, elevate my feet, and do 25 push-ups. So that way I'll get 100 push-ups in right there, and then I'll get in a good, 60 pull-ups if I'm doing 15 reps. What that does is that warms up your back, your shoulders, your chest, your biceps, and your triceps. Your whole upper body should be warm. So on every day that you're doing a body part for your upper body, whether it's forearms, biceps, triceps, shoulders, chest, or back, that's the perfect warm-up for you. So I do that every upper body day. Now, on a lower body day, I'll do something different. I'll warm up on the bike. I'll do some calf raises with stationary standing squats. So we'll save that for another day. We'll save that video for another day. So we're going to stick with arms today. So for biceps, what I like to do is, my first exercise was a isolated movement. I like to do isolated movement because you can really, really focus on your squeezing. So I did the single arm cable, and I leaned over as if I was doing a tricep kickback. Okay, you take the cable and you take it all the way down to the bottom, and you stand in the middle of the cable machine, and you pull it all the way out, 1 arm at a time, and you just stretch, squeeze, 25 reps. So remember, you're leaned over, so your body is like leaned over like this. That's how your body is. Okay, your arms are hanging. Your shoulder to your elbow needs to be a straight line. Straight line when it's hanging, that's it. And then what you can do is you actually have your arm bent like this. and you have that single handle. So I'm leaned over and I have that single handle. You make sure you get a good stretch, good contraction. You pause every single rep. And just because you're doing high volume doesn't mean you got to go at a fast pace. It doesn't mean that, because what you're doing is you start moving other bones and other muscles, and you're engaging other muscles. That's not the purpose for that day. Okay, you're focusing on the biceps. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I did 25 reps, the left arm, 25 reps, the left arm, then the right arm. Okay, and then I stood up. I took the cable, I rose it up to the top. I grabbed the rope. Instead of using a handle, I grabbed the rope because it's a little ball. I wrap my fingers over top, and I do tricep press downs. Single, one tricep at a time. 25 reps this side, 25 reps this side. And then I went straight back down and did my biceps. And I went straight back up and I did my triceps again. So I did 4 sets of that. And that's just the warm-up. That's the warm-up. That gets all 3 heads of the tricep nice and warmed up. That gets both heads of the bicep warmed up. Excuse me, I'm sweating like crazy. It's like 86 degrees up here, so it's a little hot. And that was my first superset. Okay. Now, my second superset, what I want to do is what I like to call a thickness exercise. You want to work, or a mid-range exercise. If you're familiar with Mike Munzer, an old school bodybuilder from the 70s, he was the guy who was a staple for creating what's called POF type of training, point of flexion. So what you do is you work the thickest part of the muscle, which is a mid-range movement. Because remember, like the biceps is like an oval shape like this. So we want to work the thickest part of that muscle, because if that's warmed up, then all of it's going to be warmed up, so it can handle the higher tension on isolated movements later on. So what I'll go and do is I'll go in, I think the first one I did was straight bar, wide curl. Now the problem I think that people do with this wide curl is, number one, they bring that bar up way too high. There's no way that bar should be up at your face. It just should not happen. What you have to do is you want to make sure that from a side angle, from your shoulder, top of your shoulder down to your elbow is back. So when I stretch my arm back, like I said, it's almost like doing a bent over kickback. But I want to make sure that arm stretches all the way down to almost to the point where it's straight. But you never fully straighten that elbow, okay? Never fully straighten that arm. But let it back to where you feel the stretch. If you don't feel the stretch, remember, everything's about feeling. But if you don't feel the stretch, you're not maximizing what's called the eccentric contraction. That's a process of the muscles stretching. Each contraction is the muscle stretching and the muscle contracting. So you got your eccentric and your concentric contractions, okay? So remember, we want to achieve that every rep. So you want to drop those arms down, but remember, keep that elbow back. We don't want no front delt activated. We don't want any of that, because if my elbow's back behind my torso, not in front of my pec, what's going to happen is when I curl at my highest point to here, my hands my biceps stopped here. My hands are at my chest. I'm getting full bicep work and nothing else. I'm not getting no forearms. I'm not getting anything. And what you want to do is you want to have that bar like this on the thickest part of your hand. And you grip it, but don't wrap your thumbs. Never wrap your thumbs. When you wrap your thumbs, you're engaging your forearms and you're taking pressure off of the bicep peak. So we don't want that. So you never wrap those thumbs. I don't care what you're doing. If you're doing pull-ups, lat pull downs, I don't care, any push-pull movement, you never wrap your thumbs. Keep that in mind, okay? Because we want to isolate just the muscle. So we'll do that, 25 reps. And I mean pause every single time. Squeeze at the top every single time. The benefit of squeezing is not only are you achieving the contraction, those exercises done in that fashion shape your muscles better. This is about shaping. At the end of the day, you want your muscles to look good. You don't want to be the strongest guy in the gym with underdeveloped body parts. We want to look good. So squeezing develops and forces blood through the entire muscle. And that's what's going to shape it, because that muscle needs somewhere to go. It's like a balloon effect. It's like if you blow in a balloon, it's going to fill up the whole thing. Well, we want to fill up your whole muscles with blood. Okay? So that's what you do. You get those biceps squeezing, okay? And then we go right to and do a mid-range exercise for triceps, which I like to do dips. Dips are the perfect mid-range exercise for your triceps, you know. But the key with that is, where a lot of people go wrong with dips are, you can do them, you know, with just your body weight, or you could do them leaning on a bench, and you could do them on a machine. The key to being strong or doing decent weight, even at high reps with dips, is you have to utilize your traps. You heard it here first. You got to utilize your traps and your chest. That's how you should think about it. Think of your dips as push-ups, okay? So your dip should be like a push-up. If my push-ups are here, where my markers are my thumb to my nipples, that's my mark, okay? That's the way I push up. That's the way I'm gonna dip, because I'm gonna engage the full, all three heads of that tricep by doing that movement, okay? But what I like to do personally is I like to do the seated machine, but I face it backwards and my feet hanging out. So what I do is I stabilize my core. My body is almost at a not a 45-degree angle, but a little bit of an angle. So that way I'm pressing straight down. I'm getting consistent range of motion. That's what you want. You don't want every rep to look different. So if you lock yourself in a position to where every rep has to be the same, then you could be successful and just focus on your contractions. So that's what I do for triceps. And that was the second one. So we went back and forth with that. We did 4 sets of that. So we got our 100 reps on both. Okay. So then now that you did that, we want to break it down back for the third triple set for biceps to work the long head of the bicep. So what I like to do for the long head of the bicep is either a hammer curl or a close grip easy bar curl. I personally like the really exaggerated bar, because it allows my hands to be like this, like in a hammer motion. This is your natural motion. This is your natural position. So what you need to do is, what I did today, I leaned over an inclined bench, and I took just 25-pound dumbbells. That's it, 25 pounds. I didn't go. Resistance is what determines what's heavy or what's light, not the number on the dumbbell. You could take 25 pounds and do one exercise with it, and it's extremely light. But if you put yourself in a harder position and you focus on the squeezing and I'm hanging over on an incline bench, that 25 pounds will feel like 50 pounds, you know, and I can curl 80-pound dumbbells. So those 25 pounds, you make them difficult, okay? So you lean over the edge of that incline bench, and all I did was I squeezed every time, brought them up, squeezed every time, and paused every time. Drop those arms all the way down, but not straight. Remember, never lock your elbow. Keep the tension where your body is forcing blood in that muscle, okay? And you pause every time at the top. There's gonna be no doubt, no speculation as, hey, did I get a good contraction this rep? So that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna squeeze every time, 25 reps, 25 reps, 25 reps, okay? Once I did that, then I was done with my bicep, okay? And I had this bench over next to the cable machine. So what I did next for the cable machine was, I went to the cable machine, I got a W bar, which I like the W bar, and I wanted to work the outside head of my tricep. That's what I wanted to work. So I started off with that. I did the outside grip. Now the difference with the outside grip is gonna be your elbow to your torso, okay? You have to have that gap. You have to have the gap. And when you're pressing down on that cable, you're not pressing straight down. You're pressing down and out as if you're going like this, like you do with the rope. Same exact thing. But the key with this is, unlike biceps where you want your elbow backwards behind your torso, I don't want that. What we're gonna do, we want your elbow in front of your torso. So you put your body at a 45-degree angle, make sure that torso is in front, but from your shoulder to your elbow is perpendicular to the ground. We want to keep pressure off that joint, enough weight so that you are able to achieve the contraction. So you're pressing down, but you're pulling out. And what that's going to do is, when your body's like this, you're actually going to be pressing down and like this. That cable's going to go like that, and you're going to feel nothing but this. That's all you're going to feel. Okay. So we did that, and I went right back to the hanging bicep hammer curls, right back to the triceps. So we did 4 sets of that. Now my fourth superset, For biceps, what I wanted to do were twists. Well, I call them twists. I like to do twists. So I grabbed 30-pound dumbbells. That's all I did. I did double arm, which you can do single arm. I like to do single arm at the end of a set if it starts to get difficult. But all you do, palms straight down. And you gotta think, you gotta remember, where your arms are. So what I'm doing is my elbows back, my torso's back, and your hands down. Your hands are down like this, like a fist. As you come up, you twist it up and concentrate. Concentrate. That's it. So we pause every 25 reps every single time. 25 reps every single time. Okay? Then we're just standing straight up, or you could do these seated. If you do them seated, I like it a little bit better because it forces you to, lock your legs in, lock your abs in, squeeze your core to use as your stabilizers. Remember, your abs are stabilizers, and this is how you can, get some extra ab work without actually doing crunches or whatnot. So I did my 25 reps. What I did for triceps was I took a 60-pound dumbbell. Like I said, we went light today. We took a 60-pound dumbbell, and I did my overhead incline skull crushers, or behind the head, extensions, however you want to call them. So I make the bench 45 degrees. I stand up. So the top half of my body is up here on the bench, and I lean back. That way, what I'm doing is all I have to focus on is getting my elbow as far back as possible. That's it. That's all I'm doing. And a lot of people, I think, where their variation is, they focus on lifting that dumbbell straight up. You shouldn't do that, because what you're doing is you're emphasizing that elbow. Okay, so unless you have an extreme angle with your elbow going backwards, that's really going to stretch your elbow. So I want you to focus on is not pushing straight up, but pushing up and back. So what I'm doing is I'm going here to here, here to here. Okay, so I'm pushing straight back and straight up. 25 reps, back and forth. That's another superset. Okay. Then what I did was I went for the fifth superset. What we did was we did bicep in a preacher curl. Okay, so I did preacher curls, seated preacher curls on a machine. But what I do is I do not sit on the machine. I do not sit on the machine. I lean over, standing straight up. I lean over and put my lower pec on the pad. On the top of that pad, my pec is leaning up against it. So my whole body weight is on my pec, leaning up against this. Because what I want to do is stabilize my core. There we go. We get more ab work. Use your core to stabilize you. Your feet are planted in the ground, close together. Any arm movement you do, feet together. Okay? Feet are planted on the ground. Lean over. Concentrate. Stretch the bicep. Squeeze the bicep. Stretch the bicep. Squeeze the bicep. That's it. 25 reps. Okay. Now, once I did that, a lot of blood is in my biceps at that point. I'm squeezing really, really hard. So then I went over for my tricep movement was I laid on a flat bench. And what I like to do is I like to take a dumbbell, which I took 30-pound dumbbells today, and I lay down flat on my back. I put my arm across like this to the point where my elbow is past my nose. And then all I'm doing is I'm pushing straight out like that. Have my hand like this with the dumbbell to my face. But the dumbbell's going past my head and I go straight out. That's it. That's all I'm doing. So do 25 reps each arm. If the weight is too heavy, lighten it up. The contraction's more important than the weight. Remember that. The weight is just how much resistance you're actually using. That's all you're doing. Okay? So you do 25 reps each arm. All right. Now, my last superset, what I like to do is I started experimenting this year. I started doing the FS7 that I saw Phil Heath doing, but instead I improvised it a little bit. I changed it to fit me because I needed it to be, my body is so used to the higher volume, I needed to do more reps. That's what I noticed. I needed to do more sets. I'm sorry, not more reps. I needed to do more sets. So what I did since I said, well, for the FS7, for those who aren't familiar with it, it's when you do 7 consecutive sets. You can do like 15 reps, 15 seconds rest, 15 reps, 15 seconds rest, 15 reps, and you do that 7 times for that specific body part. Well, I needed to apply that to biceps because I said whatever I do for triceps, I got to do for biceps. And we wanted to make sure that I was getting I wanted to make sure I was getting the same amount of reps. So what I did was I laid down flat on my back. I used a straight bar on the cable. Okay, I dropped the cable all the way down to the bottom. I used a straight bar. I take that back. I'm like 2 levels up from the bottom. Because when you're laying flat on your back, you need that bar, that cable to be straight across the ground, but above your feet, okay? What I'm doing is I'm isolating my body. I'm locking it in on the ground. There's no cheating here. There's no cheating here, okay? Remember, I place my hands on the bars on the outside as wide as possible, because what I want to do is I want to have that separation and gap between my bicep and my chest and my torso. I need that gap to curl. That way I know it's only bicep working. It's not anything else. So what I did was I curled, laying flat out, but I elevated my elbows this time because you can't pull them back because the ground is there. So I elevated my elbows this time and I curled. And what I did was I had my timer on my cell phone sitting next to me. So instead of doing 7 sets, I actually did 10 sets. Okay, so I did 15 reps, 15 seconds, rest, 15 reps, 15 seconds rest. And until I did 10 sets, that's 150 reps. So for the tricep, what I did was, because that's only 1 set. You don't need to do more than that. This is a finisher. You don't need to do anything else. So that was my finisher for biceps. I stood up, I took that same cable and I raised it up in the air, okay? I took that straight bar off and went back to my W bar, okay? Because it has a close grip and a wide grip. And this time I started with the close grip. So I did 15 reps, close grip, straight down, press downs. Then I did 15 seconds rest. Then I did wide grip, straight down. 15 reps, 15 seconds rest. And I went back to close, 15 seconds rest. Wide, 15 seconds rest. Until I ended up doing 5 sets in both positions. It ends up being 10 sets. That's 150 reps. Now with this tricep and bicep, crusher workout, you're gonna feel, because of the high amount of squeezing, that blood is gonna stay in those muscles. You will have a pump for the rest of the day, if not 2 or 3 days. And so amino acids are gonna be key once you get done finishing. Nutrition is always key. So that's something I will make nutritional videos later on. But this is a good arm workout that you can do once or twice a week. What I like to do is throughout the week, usually 3 times a week, if your biceps and triceps are an area that are a weak body part for you, which they were for me for years, it took me, 16 years to build up to, I'm like 19 and a half, 20-inch arms. But what I like to do is I call them my touch-up workouts. At the end of every workout, no matter what body part I'm doing, I will go over and do that FS7 protocol again for my triceps. For my triceps, I want to focus on this year. And if it's biceps, I'll do it on biceps. If it's shoulders, I'll do it on shoulders. But I've been doing that this past year just for triceps. I've been doing it about 3 times a week. And by the end of this year, I've noticed 3/4 of an inch on my arms. Your triceps is 2/3 of your arm. So that's it. That's going to be today's video, today's workout, my first workout video on Steel City Muscle. More to come. I'm trying to post as many of my workouts as possible. I try to do them daily. I work out six days a week for the most part. But we'll go over like the principles that I believe in as far as how to maintain certain body parts and keep them progressive, help them grow and get better. And remember what I told you, everything's about squeezing. Resistance is on which you make it. The weight on a dumbbell, the weight on a bar is just a number. You can make 400 pounds look easy. You can make 400 pounds look hard. You can make 20 pounds look easy. You can make 20 pounds look hard. So I want you to focus on that. It's all on you. How that contraction happens, the intensity of that contraction is all on you. So I want you to focus on that. Focus on yourself. You are the machine here. You lift like a machine. You train like a machine. And you'll be a machine. All right, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. I'll touch base with y'all probably again tomorrow. Bye.